Howdy, I'm the Chinese Zodiac Killer, labeled the Cannibal Killer in the media in conjunction with the so-called federal justice system and sentenced to federal prison. So here's some advice for anyone looking at a future sentence. After pleading guilty, for which you were very possibly even coerced into doing so, hint hint, prior to sentencing, you will be interviewed by probation at something called a pre-sentencing investigation. This is an independent investigation by probation who examines your case with a fine-tooth comb to see if they agree with the persecutor's findings, or if not, then so they can find even more ways to screw you. During this interview, there are two things that automatically add time to your sentence, often which add additional years behind bars. Conversely, if you exploit these two things, it automatically deducts time from your future sentence, possibly even by years. So listen up and don't touch that dial. Number one, not saying that you're sorry. Yes, it is literally true that if you simply just don't say you're sorry for your heinous crimes during the interview, you will automatically face a harsher sentence. Likewise, even if you say you're sorry, but then make statements that contradict that you're sorry, the probation investigator will put this in your report to the judge prior to your sentencing. Now, the other thing that can screw you into more time is number two, not verbally taking responsibility. During the investigation, you must both express how sorry you are and that it is your fault and you take responsibility. As mentioned before, even if that's been said, if you then say anything that contradicts, acceptance of responsibility will be noted for the judge to then add more time. This could be as simple as saying something like, "Man, this isn't fair, I don't deserve this," etc., etc. This applies to both federal and state court. You can find this directly in the federal sentencing guidelines, for which is a chart judges rule by, where the lower the points you have calculated is reflected in the less of a sentence you have. And that not accepting responsibility and saying you're sorry is valued at a number of calculated additional points to your total, resulting in a harsher sentence. For example, with no previous criminal history, that put me in the lowest sentencing category of number one. My sentencing guideline in category number one was level 12, which was 10 to 16 months in their concentration camp. Now, if I recall correctly, not accepting responsibility and not saying I was sorry each added an additional 2 points, which if I had not done so would have increased my category to level 16, sentencing me to 21 to 27 months, because the federal judge threw the book at me, gave me the maximum sentence for guideline level 12, and sentenced me to 16 months. If I had not accepted responsibility and said I was sorry, it goes to reason, I would have likely been sentenced to an additional 11 months for a total of 27 months instead of 16. It's quite stupid and fake in my opinion, because if you were aware of these two things, which any good lawyer should explain and warn you of prior to doing the pre-sentence investigation, then it doesn't really matter if you're sorry or take responsibility, right? All that matters to the courts is that you say you are. So it's official in writing, and so they can make the so-called justice system look functional and moral, especially to the media, while giving the system an additional weapon to screw people with if they don't. After all, incarceration is big business, of which all sorts of persecutors, judges, lawyers, and politicians have their grubby little fingers in, with investments behind the scenes to privately capitalize on. So you will notice, of course, it's no surprise America locks more people up than any other country on earth. Point of fact, they want you locked up if possible, for establishing further political control, setting examples of fear through terror, and profiting off of the suffering of you and your loved ones at the taxpayer's expense. So, like, subscribe, and share, and check out my past videos, especially those that explain why I did what I did, including why this was a publicity whistleblower stunt to get mass media attention, including discussions on my contact with non-human entities. Yes, seriously. So stay tuned for no bullshit content to come, and don't touch that dial.